Welcome back, viewers new and old, for more Toriko Unveiled. Now that we've wrapped up the 8 Kings and wrapped up these few supercuts that I wanted to deliver to you guys, I'll be slowly moving through some of the last key characters of Toriko. Now, in Toriko, I've mentioned powerful beasts beyond comprehension, beings like the 4 Kings, Dawn Slime, or Akasha's other disciples. But what makes it all possible? If you remember the previous video where I explained gourmet cells, we know that gourmet cells are remnants of the gourmet Big Bang, an event that lore-wise separated and split the different universes in Toriko. And some of these remnants became the appetite demons, while those like the ogres, Dawn Slime, or the hair, sound, and poison demons display galactic level strength and terror. Some took on less grand forms, more mortal if you will. These beings were the Nitro. First off, the name Nitro is something given to them because of the few encounters that they've had with humans were explosively violent. However, I guess it's the actual name for them given that all the other ones refer to themselves as Nitro. Nitro are actually a unique species of humanoid appetite demons with bird-like faces that possess godlike abilities and intelligence. The species, while long-lived, aren't immortal, nor do they reincarnate in new hosts like the other appetite spirits. Nitro have apparently existed on the planet for more than hundreds of millions of years. For countless centuries, the Nitros have endured extinction-level events on the planet due to their ability to enter a state of dormancy and halted metabolism known as cryptobiosis. In our real world, cryptobiosis or anabiosis is a metabolic state in that creatures adapted to harsh environments known as extremophiles can undergo in response to adverse environmental conditions. Best example being the water bear, a creature that has said to be able to live in nigh any environment and has been also said to be indestructible and nigh immortal. In this cryptobiotic state, all measurable metabolic processes stop, preventing reproduction, development, and repair. Once environmental conditions return to being hospitable, the organism will return to its true metabolic state of life as it was prior to cryptobiosis. This biology allowed the Nitro to stay dormant for ages on this expanse of years, and the only thing that they needed to awaken them was a single drop of water. The Nitro on the Red Universe's Earth hail from the gourmet world, and it is said that they have founded numerous civilizations throughout history, even within the human world, with examples like megalithic structures such as the Gourmet Pyramid. An ancient species with in-depth knowledge about the world, its history, and ingredients, they even appear to have an Egyptian-like culture, mummifying their dead and making many hieroglyphics detailing their society's ways, leaving them behind essentially as the keys to their taste buds, along with the vast structures they created. They also left behind cookbooks explaining in great detail how to specifically prepare ingredients to maximize their taste. Contrarily, the few Red Nitro we actually see never talk, many seem feral for lack of better words, often lashing out the moment they're unleashed. The Red Nitro display skills on the highest level of the pre-gourmet world Toriko characters. The 3 unleashed on the cooking festival were stronger in brute strength than the majority of the chefs, and the one within the Gourmet Pyramid proved to be an even match for an exhausted Toriko and Zebra, and it too had only just woken up from who knows how many years of dormancy. A fun fact is that our main man Jiro grew up on a healthy diet of Red Nitro as a baby, so we know that they can be considered prey to the stronger beings in the gourmet world. This while additionally being said to have made massive civilizations with other species, even humans, and these cultures thrived in the shadows of the 8 Kings. The most notable of the Nitro on Earth were the 3 golden chefs or flavor sages, Gigi, Kaka, and Chi-Chi. Those 3 had their own video coming, as the rest of the Nitro didn't really last in prosperity. Despite developing these ancient civilizations and their formidable biology, the Red Nitro were ultimately beat down and enslaved by another species, the Blue Nitro. As the name implies, the Blue Nitro are from a separate universe known as Blue Space, and are vastly more advanced than their counterparts and additionally much more powerful. While the Red Nitro were capable of creating marvels, the Blue Nitro were far more spacefaring than their kin. Even more intelligent as well, as they subjugated weaker appetite demons in order to ripen planets by shocking the ecosystem with advanced predators to stimulate their facilitated gourmet harvesting. Though we know this directly backfired when Neo was left behind and essentially spawn camped the entire Blue Universe into extinction. And this leads to, with only a small number, the Gourmet Nobility. the survivors of Neo's personal extinction. The title Noble refers to these extremely influential Blue Nitro individuals that came from the Blue Universe in search for Neo. While we don't know how life was before their pursuit of Neo, we know that they are the overseers of the growth of gourmet cells and the planet's full course menu, and those who ramped up cell development on Earth. The nobles would employ brutal methods to enslave the Red Nitro, such as wiping out their civilizations and cultures and even crushing their vocal cords and turning them into the savage, mindless food gatherers we know. The Gourmet Nobility's desire for conquest and enslavement was not limited to just members of their own kind, but to humans and other species as well. Having founded societies in the human world in ancient times where humans were used as their slaves or as food, even after their operations in the human world failed, they would continue to enslave and capture humans for their own use via their creation, the Four Beasts, which would enter the human world every few centuries to gather humans for them and bring them back. They would experiment on these humans via injecting them with gourmet cells, this creating beings like the residents of Hex Food World. Though the full reason for this is unknown, we know they additionally use humans to prepare the full course as ingredients. The Blue Nitro have also been stated to have repeatedly clashed with the 8 Kings throughout the ages, shown in their stagnation of Area 8, or with their conflict with the Monkey King's ancestors, who they personally said had drank the continent's source of pear dry. And throughout these conflicts, it said the 8 Kings sided with the Red Nitro and other species, though this is never discussed at length. The current Gourmet Nobles reside in a section of the gourmet world that truly looks otherworldly, the Dining Planet, said to only be accessible to those with great food luck, with only Joey and Froge having ever stepping foot there. Each of the nobles adopts the code name of the full course ingredient they oversee: Pear, Air, another, News, Atom, Center, Earth, and God. Each one of these beings are likely older than the planet and possess such knowledge and power that when they originally encountered Akashia's family, he ordered his sons to stand down as no one could hope to beat the Blue Nitro. Which is crazy, because even in their youth, the 3 disciples in Akasha were likely still the strongest Earth had to offer in terms of resistance. The Blue Nitro's meddling extends to the literal cooking of Earth and sealing of Neo, along with an inevitable prophecy about a giant appetite spirit eating the entire planet. But we have to note that the Blue Nitro expedited the emergence and growth of Neo and, well, the entire gourmet world. They would be akin to the real-life theory that aliens visited the primal ancestors of man, except the Blue Nitro's overall goal, and like I said, reason for coming to the Red Universe, was Neo. They wanted to revive Neo in its full power after the host had eaten the planetary full course. They would then use the advanced golden tools to bind and seal Neo away, and to back it up, each one of the Blue Nitro actually boasted incredible feats. One key thing is that each one of them used a golden tool. While the golden cooking ware created in Area 6 were made to cook the bounty of the world and ingredients with things like pots and spatulas, the golden tools possessed by the Nitro were made to prepare, cook, and seal. Peelers, knives, corkscrews, and even a golden thread for binding. I always thought this was just a clever way to explain the Blue Nitro utilizing cooking as far more than just a means of nutrition. With their history out of the way, however, it's time we look at each of the members of the Gourmet Nobility, starting with Pear. Possibly the most important in the entire series, Pear was the Nitro responsible for the Gourmet Nobility's first introduction to Akasha, and quite literally mutually feasted with Akasha to survive. Pear met Akasha when both of them were on the verge of death from poisoning of the Toriko flower. They both came to the conclusion to consume pieces of each other in order to survive and obtain a conventional pair. This also revealed the presence of Neo. After this, it gave Akasha information on the Blue Universe and a multitude of the Earth's own ingredients. Though he's named Pear, we never see him having anything to actually do with Area 7, nor the Monkey King, or ingredient itself, but it's likely he secured the name on his encounter with Akasha. Pear was first seen in the Ozone arc, where he apparently stalked Toriko and Komatsu until they revealed the Ozone herb. And as the only time we got to see a Blue Nitro actually animated, it was an incredibly intimidating experience, with Toriko and Komatsu locked in, entirely afraid to even move in the presence of this mysterious being. Amongst the Nitro, Pear was the last standing of the nobles, and directly influences the battle against Akasha by engaging Toriko's rage later on. And additionally, it should be noted that Pear, for a moment, fought and injured Toriko's red appetite demon ogre, further confirming how powerful Blue Nitro could be, as Toriko and Red had essentially eaten the entire planet's full course. Air. Air was actually the Nitro that killed Toriko. Though it looked similar to Pear and had a longer tuft of hair and different armor, we additionally never actually saw Pear's face open up, so this does confirm that Air was the one. With this being his code name, he would have directly overseen the procurement of the air fruit and perhaps contributed to the downfall of Area 8 and the Nightmare species. In my opinion, he got what he deserved, as he was ripped apart by Akashi/Neo as they started their initial rampage. Though, according to the other Nitro, Air was weakened after preparing the full course, and Akashi simply took advantage of this. News. The biggest of the Blue Nitro. News is, I believe, shown as one of the Nitro whom were present when they first entered the Red universe. Like all the other nobles, News possessed planetary levels of strength and, as directly stated, he could shake the mantle of a Jupiter-sized planet. Though that didn't stop him from getting eternal knocked by Jiro and taken out of the picture. We have no real confirmation of his death, but assuming Jiro turned him white as a statue, I'd say he's gone. Nonetheless, an attack that could shake the mantle of the planet would have to have similar effects as an earthquake, as earthquakes take place in the upper mantles of a planet. If News could shake the planet the size of Jupiter, we can assume without damage knocking, he would have actually cleared Jiro. Adam. Adam is actually the imposter Kaka that played a major role in the Pear arc, and as it seems it's the first to act and speak amongst the nobles, we can assume it is the de facto leader. Additionally, Adam seemed to be able to change its appearance, its true form being much more terrifying than any of the Blue Nitro in my opinion, as its face was like a hollow mask that opened up to surround its head with rows of teeth, and additionally just had tiny little dots of light as eyes within, these differences being pretty night and day. Early on, Adam shows a side of the Blue Nitro we only see once, kind, helpful, and outright directly responsible for the Heavenly King's growth for their fight with the Monkey King. Adam clearly will do things not expected of an in-game boss if it furthers his own goal. However, we know that this is simply a front. When it was clear that the Kings could not defeat Bambina, Adam, with no remorse or sign of anything, no sign of distress, no sign of anger, went to kill Komatsu, who was already gravely injured after getting his heart crushed by Tepai, and even confronted the Kings, planning to kill all of them once they realized his trickery. We even see Adam is quite durable, not only surviving a tail whip from the Monkey King, but a direct appetite energy blast that carved a mountain-sized rut through Area 7. Adam, though it had a major role in the story, is much like the entire Noble roster, cooked in the final battle for God, being defeated by Tepai, who used the Space Tulip, which was actually an ingredient from outside the planet, which when sprouted in Adam, you can imagine how that killed him. Another. Again, as most of their names go, we never got to see the Blue Nitro's involvement with their respective full course ingredients, but another was one of the original Blue Nitro we saw awake when they entered Red space, suggesting maybe some sort of seniority. We can even assume they've already lived a long enough in life, but another actually shows visible signs of aging, being much smaller than the previous illustrations. While like all the Blue Nitro, another possessed several golden tools, it seemed more knowledgeable than the rest of them in battle, as with Jiro. After Jiro defies a twofold beheading attempt, the other Nitro suggests that he might be an appetite demon, but another stated he possessed reproductive organs and was simply packed densely with gourmet cells. Despite her age of wisdom, she was ultimately killed by Jiro's Big Bang Punch in the battle between him and the Nitro God. Despite his name, his showing was kinda unimpressive. The only real thing that stood out about God were the multiple life beads it wore in its hair, and they all got shattered when he was killed by Jiro's head shaker. Center. Funnily enough, Center is one of the few we actually see procure his namesake when he brought Center to the battlefield from Biotype 0 to evolve Akasha. Center also fought the Battle Wolves briefly, though he was inevitably killed by Pear to quote-unquote save him from being eaten by Neo so he'd be able to reincarnate, but I think Pear just wanted to ensure his plan of letting Neo resurrect happen, as he had a secret side interaction with Akasha. And finally, Earth. Earth has a notably different appearance than the rest of the Blue Nitro, looking closer to Center, but small with a more pointed face and beak, and it wasn't really featured. Notably, it was one of the first Nitro to engage Jiro in as it tried to decapitate him, but it was still in the headlock, and this was the one who also possessed the golden slicers that could carve up a portion of the planet. But he wasn't seen again after taking a direct hit by Jiro's Guinness punch, so we can assume he too died. And now that I think about it, god damn, Jiro really bodied half the Gourmet Nobles. And I think the power displayed is likely why they chose to use the golden tools and golden can to seal Jiro, expressing that overall, the Nitro had realized they were outmatched, though I believe Adam did state while Jiro was distracted by Akashia, it could have actually took him out. But inevitably, a large amount of these godlike beings were killed by a boy who grew up eating lizards. So, in the end, the Gourmet Nobles do kind of get a little bit of redemption with the ending, and as for the fate of the Blue Nitro overall, I'll explain in another video. So, stay tuned everybody. I hope this video answered your questions on the Blue Nitro and Nitro species as a whole. I do plan on dropping one more supercut, as, you know, it's usually easier for the algorithm to pick up long form content, and additionally, they really do help pick up a lot of subscribers. But remember everyone, thanks for dining at the Psych Ward, stay safe and stay sane, and give thanks for the bounty of this universe.